Tesla, stock code TSLA. So can there be more upside from here? And should you think about positioning yourself in this stock for profits as it moves higher? Hey guys, Joey here, top 10 trader in Philip Securities, and in this video, I'll be diving into Tesla, one of the most popular and actively traded US stock that I get asked quite often on. So we'll be looking at some of the news that happened over the past few days that have caused Tesla to surge up by more than 10%, right? And we'll be looking at the charts as well. So this is a chart right here. We'll be diving into the charts. We'll see where we are right now. What are some of the potential targets? What are some of the new support levels that have came out? Maybe even the trend, right? In the longer term, in the short term, where can we potentially head to? And if it is too late for you to actually think about getting in right now, the fact that it has already surged up. So we look at the charts in a bit, all right? And of course, we'll look at the system that I have this system called the 1GT, one good trend system, that we had a couple of bullish signals that have came out as well to see what it says in the system, and if you could actually time your entry to get in right now, right? So let's dive into Tesla right now, and I hope that you like this video. Go ahead to give me a like, all right, and smash the subscribe button as well, so that you will not miss out on videos like this, and that will definitely help out the channel. So Tesla stock has surged up by more than 10% over the past few days because a Morgan Stanley analyst actually upgraded its target price from $250 to $400, right? And there was a lot of activity that came in again. There was a lot of interest that came to the stock. People started to buy this stock, and that's the reason why it surged up. All right, and this Morgan Stanley analyst actually argued that Tesla should be viewed as a tech company as much as an electric car maker. So most of the time, people are looking at Tesla as an EV car maker in the EV space, but it is actually a technology company. And this analyst actually came up with an optimistic note that envisioned Tesla selling this AI technology, right, called Dojo, right? This is a software that Tesla is still developing, and Tesla actually selling this technology to other automakers and also saving money by using its own GPU as much as possible rather than using the chips from NVIDIA. So this Tesla Dojo supercomputer project, these analysts believe that it could theoretically add up to $500 billion to the company value in the long term. And even CEO Elon Musk said in July this year that Tesla planned to spend more than $1 billion on Dojo by the end of 2024. So essentially, this whole Dojo software, it helps with AI, machine learning, and computer vision training purposes for its car and other robotic efforts. And it's not just about EV. As I said, this technology could be used in other industries as well. So Dojo is still early in its development, and they believe that its application long-term can extend beyond the auto industry. So not just the auto or the electric vehicle space. Dojo is designed to process visual data, which may lay the foundation for visual-based AI models such as robotics, healthcare, and even security. So in their view, in Morgan Stanley analyst view, Tesla can make headway on autonomy and software, and this Dojo software and service can offer investors the next leg of Tesla growth story. So that's the main reason why we have seen Tesla stock surge up by more than 10%. There will be a little bit of a profit taking, but that was the news that came out. Target price has been risen from $250 to $400. So right now, what we want to do is to look at the chart for Tesla to see if is it too late to get in? Is it like starting to move up? Should we think about positioning ourselves for more upside? What is the trend looking like right now? So let's dive into the chart of Tesla to see how this news has played out and how it will look like over the next few weeks or maybe over the next couple of months. Okay, so this is Tesla trading at about $267 right now. So before I talk about where we are right now, let's just look at the chart over the past over year and see what has happened for Tesla. So you can see that for Tesla, we have been pretty much trading lower and lower since last year. Right over here, you can see that was where we faced a little bit of resistance somewhere around the $400 mark. There was some selling, and they'll talk about inflation and rate hikes and all that. You can see that we started to hit lower with what we call lower high. So the highs actually went lower and lower. In fact, we can also draw what we call a downward sloping, what we call a channel resistance line. So that is where it is, actually a bit of a downtrend since last year, whereby the highs were getting lower. Sellers came out and pushed prices even lower and actually found a bottom somewhere around the beginning of the year right over here. That was around that $100 to $120 mark. So it was a bit of a downtrend since last year, due to the selling down of many of the tech stocks, due to rate hikes and all that. But somewhere around the beginning of the year, or maybe somewhere around like May or April, you could see that we managed to break above this downward sloping channel resistance line. This red line that's sloping, you can see that we managed to break above it, and that was where there were some signs of the trend reversal or an uptrend starting to form up, or at least getting out of this downtrend that has formed since the beginning of 2022. So you can see that from the moving averages as well. Let me just remove all these lines. You can see that the moving averages were pointing down as well. Look at this right here. This is what we call the longer term moving average, the 100 days moving average actually crossed below the blue line, the 200 days moving average. So it's a bit of a downtrend. You can see both of these lines were pointing down, the red and blue pointing down. It went lower, and the bottom right over here. So a bit of a downtrend since last year, until same thing somewhere around May. We saw the moving averages starting to cross back up again. We had the 100 days moving average crossing back up above the 200 days moving average. And both of these lines are starting to slope up right now. So I would say that the trend for Tesla has pretty much turned from a downtrend since beginning of 2022 all the way to an uptrend somewhere around April and May. There are already signs of the uptrend forming up. So that is in terms of the longer term. What about the short term? So you can see that in terms of the short term, we want to look at what we call the 20 days moving average. This would be the green line. You can see this green line over here that is follows prices quite closely, and you can see that whenever we see like a short-term rebound, like right over here, when we see a short-term rebound, that's where the 20 days moving average started to point down, flatten out, and it starts to reverse back up with prices above it, and we saw prices moving back up as well. So same thing right over here, right? We saw the 20 days moving average line starting to turn upwards, prices above it, pop, it started to push all the way up. So over the past 1-2 months, we did see a bit of weakness in the markets, in Tesla, and some of the tech stocks as well. And you can see that Tesla kind of headed to this level about 300. So resistance level for Tesla would be somewhere around that 300 to 320 level. Right over here, as I mentioned, that was where we had the high over here. We neared here and sold off as well. So around 300 to 320, that would be what we call the resistance level. And right now, over the past 1 month, we have broke above this very key level as well. So let me just draw it for you. You can see right over here, somewhere around that $220. You can see 220 was what we call a resistance level as well. All right, we were trading below it, and then when we broke above it, the upside happened. We went up, came back down, retested this 220 support level, so resistance turn support, and you can see that we are right now making our way back up from 220 maybe all the way up to that 320 to 300 level, right? So that's pretty much for Tesla. I think it looks quite good in terms of the short term. We did see a spike up again, all right, after this Morgan Stanley upgraded its target price from 250 to 400. So 400 would be somewhere around here. Let me just go to draw this target. So that would be the next resistance level around that 400 level. After 320, that is potentially where we can head to as well, right over here. So it's about 320 near-term target. After that, then it would be all the way to about that 400, which is the Morgan Stanley target price as well. All right, so in the short term, you can see that we found some support around that 220, started to see a bit of rebound, and this 20 days moving average, look at this, right? This 20 days moving average was sloping down because we saw some weakness, right? But over the past 1 week plus, you can see that this 20 days moving average, it is starting to flatten out, and eventually I think right now it is actually starting to point up. So there's a sign of strength as well in terms of the short term. We are seeing not just strength in the longer term trend, but also in the short-term trend with the 20 days moving average starting to slope up as well, right? So that is a good thing. Same thing like what we saw over here. As I mentioned, you can see that when the 20 days moving average reverses back up, all right, prices went above it, the short-term trend started to turn up, and we saw quite a good rally as well in Tesla price. All right, so this is what we're seeing right now. I think it looks quite good. Anything above this new support, maybe around that 220 or 260. Let me see if we can find another support somewhere a bit higher. So that could be another support right here as well, somewhere maybe around that $240. Let me just draw it right here. I think that could be a support level. It seems like the support has gone even higher. Let me just turn this to green in color. So about 220 to 240, I think that would now be the new support level. All right, anything above that 240, that is potentially where more upside can happen. The reversal is still on track. It might not be too late, even though we have seen Tesla price surge up over the past few days. There could potentially still be more upside, and especially if we do break the 300 to 320, upside targets can be revised even higher. And you can see that this 240, which I've drawn right away here, this $240 also coincides with where the 20 days moving average line is, and also where the 100 days moving average is also approaching and sloping back up. So this is Tesla. I think it looks quite good right now. We're seeing a bit of profit taking, maybe near 280 to 300. It might consolidate a little bit. Let me just draw it for you. We might see a bit of move up here, a bit of consolidation, and eventually if we do break this 310, 320 level, that is where potentially we might see more upside towards the target price of $400, which is pretty much the next resistance level we touched in 2021 before we started selling down. And it's also the same as the Morgan Stanley target price that has been revised upwards as well. Okay, so let's take a look at what Tesla looks like on my 1GT system. So I have a system called 1GT. In short, it's called One Good Trend, all right, which pretty much filters out stocks for us, winning stocks, whether to buy or to short, and it guides us on entry and exit as well. So you want to find out a little bit more on the whole entire framework, the strategy, and even the system behind. How do we use it to guide us? You can attend one of our free webinars that we're still running. I'll put the link around or below this video. Just click on it to register for this webinar to learn a little bit more on this strategy. But right now, I'm going to share with you on what it looks like, or how it looks like for Tesla right now on the system. You can see that this is Tesla, all right, and we had a couple of bearish signals since last year. This was like a bearish signal somewhere in September 2022. It's a red arrow down. You can see it started to sell down from like 280 all the way to like 220. Got another bearish signal, went all the way down until we found a bottom somewhere around the 110, 120 level that I talk about, right? So that was where it sold all the way down. We got an exit. This is like an exit signal pretty much to close off this bearish signal. And then we started to see the trend starting to turn up as well. You can see the red bar, right? This is a trend bar that turned from red to green in color, and a few new bullish signals started coming out. So this is like the green arrow up, started to push up, went down a little bit, started to push up. And let's put our attention to this bullish signal right over here on the 5th of May. As I mentioned, somewhere around like April and May, that was where the trend really started to turn up. We broke above the downward sloping channel resistance line, all right, and also the moving averages in the longer term were all starting to point up. If you remember, right, that was what we covered just now, somewhere around here. All right, and we started to see the surge all the way up to like about $300, right? So yeah, this was the bullish signal that came out somewhere around that 170. It went all the way up to like about 270, 280, and there was some weakness. Another exit, came back down, and let's take a look at where we are right now. So I think just over the past 2 weeks, right, on the 22nd of August, we got these new bullish signals that came out as well. Somewhere near the bottom, we got this bullish signal, and since then, over the past 2-3 weeks, we have started to push up to where we are right now. So looks quite good, As I mentioned, right, we could potentially head towards maybe that 300 to 310 level, 320 level. That's where some profit taking can come back again. But if we do break that level, well, now I would say that this bullish signal can still continue to play out. We might start to push even higher until we see an exit. Then it can also guide us to take some profit to get out, or that's where some selling can actually return as well. All right, so this is Tesla, all right, we got a recent bullish signal. There are no exit, it's starting to move up, all right, and we'll see how it plays out, all right, and when the exit signal actually comes out, or maybe if a new a bullish signal comes out after the exit, that could guide us to ride it even further. So that is Tesla, guys. I've covered pretty much the news flow that happened over the past few days, and we have dived into the charts. I do a quick analysis like what we see over here, and we have even dived into the system that I have to see, what it says on the system, whether there were any bullish or maybe even bearish signals that have came out over the past few months. So I hope you have a better idea of where we are right now for Tesla in terms of the target, where we can potentially head to before some selling can actually return again. So if you like this video, guys, go ahead to give me a like and smash the subscribe button so that you will not miss out on videos like this, and that will really help out the channel. and thank you so much for doing this. So as I say, right, if you want to find out a little bit more on the entire one good trend strategy or the framework behind the system, right, you can attend one of those free web class that we're still running. I'll put the link below this video or around it. Click on it, attend one of these free webinars to learn a little bit more. All right, and that's where I'll share with you, all right, in detail, right, in terms of the step-by-step framework that we are using to pick stocks like this and to ride stocks that are in an uptrend that has the potential to push even higher. All right, so Joey here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.